Listen up, get ready, I'm not gonna take no more. There's a revolution, a revelation going on in my soul. Buckle up, get ready, we're not gonna sit back.
Welcome back to Live from the Heartland for the week of August 7th, and I'm still Michael James. I'm here with my co-host, Euan Hague.
Good morning.
Our first guest is no stranger to the show. Don Rhodes has been around a long time. He's in his 90s, and he's a really good analyst of political activity, and most of the time in predictions, although we did all together have one prediction back in 2016 that did not work out. So anyhow, good morning to you, Don.
Good morning. How are you?
We're good. Well, I've been up off and on since about 5 this morning, and it is Wednesday on the 5th of August. And yesterday was primary day around the country. And one of the races that everybody who is tuned into this sort of thing was watching was the Michigan Democratic primary for the Senate position, which is now going to be open. And only at around 9 o'clock this morning did they say that El-Sayed had won the race. So how about you talk a little bit about what you got from yesterday's elections in Michigan and beyond?
Well, I think it was evident from the very beginning that El-Sayed was going to win. And the question still remains, is he too far left for that race? My feeling is with the establishment such as it is there, coming around him and rejoining his campaign, that he can carry it. It's a very important race. We don't want to lose a seat that we've got, the very wonderful Gary Peters. I'm surprised he dropped out or decided not to run again. I'm very sorry. He would have been a cinch. So I would say that this race is going to be very, very close. I think, just politically, I would have preferred that the establishment candidate win. But I think El-Sayed can win, but it's going to be a tougher one than I prefer to run when we've got to pick up 4 new seats as well as hold on to the seats we've got.
Yeah, the primary was very close. He won by 1% against Haley Stevens, I believe her name is, and she was endorsed by Governor Whitmer, who's very strong in Michigan and has brought a number of people across the finish line, but she did not on this one. I did see that El-Sayed's opponent came out yesterday and was very clear that she would support him in the race. Whoever won would get her support, her or El-Sayed.
Well, if they can couple that with all the new voters that El-Sayed theoretically brought into this race, we've got to look at, there's a lot to analyze yet that we don't know now that it's just barely over. But if we can get the establishment, Haley and company behind El-Sayed and pick up his new younger people, then I think we can hold on to that seat. But it's a little nervous.
Do you want to share anything else on the kind of split that they talk about in the news between the old guard Democrats and the younger Democrats, particularly around the issue of Gaza?
Well, that's going to be the continuing issue in Democratic politics all the way up to Election Day. It's a matter of how people decide to compromise on the issue of Israel. And we don't know that, but we are hoping that there will be a decent compromise, rather than a batch of people who say, the hell with Israel. If you're for it, we're against it, and so on.
Are there any other races from Tuesday that caught your attention, Don?
Nothing of any dramatic possibility. There was a few. There was, I believe, another Democratic Socialist elected, but this would have been first seat, and it's not. And not going to play in the larger scale.
Can I twist your arm to talk a little bit more about the kind of split in the Democratic Party that I think gets hyped up a lot by the media, but I'm sure there's some real basis to it too.
Well, there is a basis. There are people who, if you have anything to do with Israel, don't want anything to do with you. There are those who compromise on Israel. The issue of anti-Semitism always reigns high when people are criticizing Israel. If you don't think Israel has a right to exist, that's one thing. If you think it has a right to exist, but it's doing the wrong thing, that's another. We have a split of opinions. The old saying, 2 Jews, 3 opinions. And this is a very tricky situation. It does involve people forgiving each other or coming together when the big numbers come in, when we have to make that big vote. And it's a matter of how well both sides can compromise with each other.
You're muted.
Yeah, I think another thing about the primary in Michigan, of course, is the state is home to a large Arab American population, which was seen as playing a big role in previous elections in the state. And also, I've not been following it closely, but from what I've been reading and listening to, El-Sayed is seen to be a really great retail politician, very natural in his demeanor, really connecting with people. And so a lot of people are saying, he's very reflective of a very engaged, dynamic candidate. So, there's other elements. I mean, obviously the issue with Israel is, he's strongly opposed to U.S. support for Israel. I think that will overshadow a lot of it, but he has a lot of other qualities that I think people have been attracted to in his campaign.
Oh, there's no question that he has a lot of personal and campaign qualities, just like the mayor of New York. It always takes more than one element. It's not just a position, but he's the kind of guy who can sell his position.
Yeah, I think, we've been on this show for the last year almost. I've been raising the whole question, often with some of my guests who are Jewish, about the role that the Gaza struggle is going to take in the future for the Democratic Party. And, I'm not sure that the Democrats have really got a handle on this yet. It clearly, my position would be, we certainly respect the state of Israel, but we don't like the government and their policies. And what it did do with the whole Gaza war has really brought up the history of Palestinians in Israel and the whole Palestine-Israel split, two-state solution, all those kind of issues. I don't know. Does anyone have an idea about where this ought to go, or what kind of position we might ought to take?
I think we're still in flux on that one. You're absolutely right. We have very bad actions by the state of Israel, and it's hard for a lot of people to distinguish the actions of the state and the position of Jews. I'm Jewish. I support the state of Israel, but not what it's doing. And I think, one of the 3 or 4 worst men on earth right now is Benjamin Netanyahu, who talked Donald Trump into starting a war with Iran. He's been trying to get American presidents to start wars, and they've all wisely avoided it. And he succeeded here, and we're in another muddle. We're in a muddle. That's a whole other issue.
I like that. We're in a muddle.
Muddle.
Well, let's hope there's not too much of a big muddle on this other thing. But how about the Chicago mayoral election, which is coming up for February 2027? And, I listened to public radio when I'm driving to and from the Y, and over the last few days, last week maybe, they've been having potential mayoral candidates on. Like they had Susan Mendoza on yesterday. So we decided that we would go to you and ask your thoughts on the upcoming mayoral race. How does it look shaping up to you? What do you got to share?
Well, the big mystery and the thing that, holds back any kind of predictions is that the mayor himself has not said whether he is going to run again. Now, we don't know whether that's his own personal thing, whether he decides not to run, or whether he is in deep conference with the Chicago Teachers Union. And until we know whether the mayor is running again, it's hard to make a good view of the table. My feeling right now is that the leading candidate is Alexei Janulius. He's well known. He's turned out to be an honest guy, which people worried about. He's
back when his family had a bank that got in some trouble.
Yeah, and that's why he lost the Senate race years ago. But I would say he's in the best position right now. There are a lot of people hanging out there, Congressman Quigley is a plausible candidate. But until we know who the CTU is backing and whether that means Johnson runs again, it's still a mystery. Although, as I can repeat again, that the one right now best situated is Alexei Janulius. If I had my personal choice, I'd pick Cam Buckner from the state legislature, but I'm not going to get my personal choice in this one.
What is your thing? Go ahead, Euan.
I would say one of the first people to declare was former Congressman Mike Quigley from the North Side. Do you think he's getting any traction?
He will have some. I see some of I use the word plausible about him. I don't think he is a lead candidate, although he developed early on, a position as a reformer. But we've got to see how he sets into the larger picture, and the larger picture has not been developed.
And do you think with the large number of candidates already declaring, it suggests Johnson is definitely vulnerable, I think?
Well, Johnson is vulnerable already. There's no question in my mind that somebody whose numbers are in the 20s is a serious threat. But it looks as how the rest of the thing is spread out. He might wind up being one of these guys who comes in with a very small number of votes, but he's got just a few more than the next 10 people who are running. It's, as I say, it's an undeveloped picture. And I don't think he should run again. I don't think he can possibly win, but it depends on what's happening with the union, which is the most important non-candidate player, as it was when Johnson won.
My thoughts I was going to share on Johnson was I was not real excited about his early days in office, but I thought around the ICE stuff, and he kind of got energized and played a good role. And I talked to some of the CTU people, Chicago Teachers Union, and they would say, these people I were talking to, that he has sort of stuck up for his principles and what he stands for. And I kind of, given who's running against him, if he runs, I would be still pretty open to working for Johnson. I think he's young and was inexperienced and is evolving. Just to let me share, because I went and looked this up, people running for office right now are Susan Mendoza, who's the Illinois comptroller,
who has run before and
lost.
did zilch.
Right. And then we got Janulius, we got Quigley, we got George Cardenas, we got Matt Brewer, we got Maria Pappas, Joe Hallberg, John Kelly, Lissa Nee, Liam Stanton, and then the incomparable, always there, Willie Wilson.
Well, when you lay it out like that, how many of those names strike bells and have people right now, when you run through that, have somebody saying, "That's it"? Yeah. I think it's all pretty flat there. We've got a lot of losers and a lot of hopers and wishers, but I didn't hear any names there that provide a threat, let's say, to Janulius if he continues where he is.
I'm blocking my next question that I had. Oh yeah, I wondered what your thoughts were on two of these candidates who are getting some attention, Susan Mendoza and Alexei Janulius. They're both running for the offices that they currently hold. And your thoughts on people running for two positions in the same race or in the same election?
Well, it's legal. That's all we can say about it. I don't like it, but we've got a lot of legalities that make one unhappy. You know, make up your mind, one race or another.
And these days, you don't have to be truthful or follow the law. You can sort of do whatever you want, apparently. Don, let me ask you, what do you think are some of the key issues that will come up in the mayoral election in February?
Money, 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 money. Who's got the solution to this huge debt that we've got running? It's all about the bucks right now. And if anybody sitting here comes up with a solution for the money that's feasible, they could win.
Well, that would be great to get some money from the local to all the way up. If we all had more money, we could do better.
Well, we need somebody who's going to get along much better with Pritzker, which Johnson has failed to do. We've got to have a mayor who can work in tandem with Pritzker, because we're going to need a lot of state help to solve that financial solution.
Final question. Do you think there are any other people who will jump into the race? And if you do, you might, I know you mentioned Cam Buckner, but who else might be a candidate? And are there any that would be non-white?
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know anybody who at the moment is preparing to do so. So, I can think of 6 different aldermen who would like to jump in. Whether any of them will, who knows?
Well, Don Rose, it's good to see you, and we'll be back in touch. We'll have you on again, and I want to thank you for coming on today, and I want to thank